Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this season premiere of my new podcast called Lounging with Lo, the show that talks about my favorite movies and TV shows along with some interesting facts and review. I am your host, Lauren, or as most of my friends call me, Lo. I'm so thrilled to have you guys here with me tonight. So on this season premiere, I'm going to start off with telling you guys a little bit about myself, kind of like a what you call getting to know Lo session here. I have been a very big movie and TV fanatic since I could probably remember. And I'm sure that you probably have seen my parents around, or probably if you see my parents around, you can probably ask them, what was Lauren's first movie memory or TV memory that you remember? And I'm sure they could probably tell you exactly what it was and how things came to be for my life. And I've also been passionate about how and why movies are made and the interesting facts behind the movies, TV shows, the characters, as well as most of the editing process that takes place in that. And the reason why I say editing is because I have learned in school about editing movies. I went to Live Oaks Vocational School to do the multimedia program there, which is an amazing program when I was there. And I kind of got a better understanding of how the editing process is, especially when a director chooses how the scene's going to go and what they picture in their head so they can be able to tell the actors and actresses, the cameraman or the cameramen or women, and the people who do the music. I got a really good understanding of how everything is in pieces and how it comes together. And that kind of really inspired me to go into movie editing. But it also inspired me to kind of watch movies with a different perspective of things. So let's take the movie The Mask for a quick second here. So if you're watching The Mask, you first start watching, it's a comedy movie, and, Jim Carrey is one of the big names in that movie, and, he's just a phenomenal genius of what he does with his face, but I'm not going to get too much into it because that's going to be for another podcast here, but with the knowledge that you guys are going to have when you guys hear about The Mask from that podcast, you'll see it in a different way just like I did. And, I love watching movies with my friends and my family because I love the reaction that they have when I tell them some knowledgeable things of what I have searched up for these particular movies. So I'm hoping on the show that you guys, again, I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite movies and TV show episodes, or even just my favorite TV shows altogether. And what you guys can expect is, again, interesting facts. I'm going to talk about some of my TV episodes and the favorite moments from either the movies or from the TV episodes, whether it be a very somber moment, a very funny moment that I wanted to share with you guys, or things of that nature. And I'm also a really big movie quote person, so I will try my best to put in a movie quote or two and not overdo a whole lot of it, because if you know my family, we are a big movie quote people. So we're going to learn about why the director chose these particular sounds for the scenes, whether it be a romantic scene of whether you hear more strings, or when it's a certain duel with the hero and the villain, or if it's a battle scene coming in, why there's more horns and percussions, and a little bit more about the characters and what perspired them to be who they are, like a little about their backstory type of ordeal. And then you're also going to know about the favorite moments, whether there's tender moments in the movies that I'm watching, or funny movie moments, things of that nature. All this awesome fun stuff here. And I might throw in maybe a movie quote or two. If you're anything like my family or have known me for a long time, I'm a big movie quoter, and I get that from, again, my family. So I just wanted you guys to know that I have a Facebook page out there. It's called Lounging with Lo, where you can follow me. So I'll be trying to update as much as I can with all my podcasts, which also has a link to my website that you can be able to hear my podcasts on. And, we'll be able to talk about movies that I've seen in the movie theaters and all of the other podcast information that you'll be out there for you guys. So I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of a preview right now. I recently watched this weekend, My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. It's a very amazing movie, and like I said, as soon as I do the Big Fat Greek Wedding portion of the movies, I will be talking about that as much as I can. But as of right now, it is in the movie theaters. It came out Friday, so if you guys want to watch that, it's amazing. You'll laugh a little bit. You'll have those tender moments like I got talked about, and it's just something to kind of enjoy with the family. Again, in order to understand the third movie, you have to watch the first one and the second one just to get an understanding, so that when things happen in the third one, you'll know, oh, that's why this happened, or that's why she's there, and things like that, or why he's there. So, like I said, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, it came out on Friday, and my family and I really enjoyed it, and I think it's something that you guys can really enjoy. But like I said, when I get to the My Big Fat Greek Wedding portion of my podcast, I will be letting you guys know a little bit more about that as well. Again, that's part of the movie section of that. I know I've already mentioned The Mask and My Big Fat Greek Wedding series in there, but let's talk about TV shows for just a quick second here. So, when I'm talking about my TV shows, I want to talk about the certain episodes in my podcast, I would like to let you guys know that there will be spoiler alerts in here. So, I recommend watching the episodes first before you listen to the podcast. And the reason why I do that is, again, the spoiler alerts, because I don't want you guys listening to my podcast and then going on to the show where the episode airs and go, oh my goodness, I already knew about that. I really wish I would have waited, because then you're anticipating. And that's kind of not where I wanted you guys to go with that. So I'll kind of give you guys, I guess you want to call it a homework assignment, maybe? If you have the time, of course. I know a lot of you guys have busy families and don't have the time to do this, but the first TV series I'm going to start doing is something called Castle. And of course, it's not about castles where, kings and queens and all the royal courts come in here. No, it's more about a certain character inside of the TV series. And again, I don't want to go too much into it because I'm still working on a little bit of the stuff, but if you're ever wanting to watch the TV show called Castle, it is streaming right now on Hulu. Again, it's Hulu. So if you have the option to watch it through Hulu, I recommend watching it before we start the podcast. And Castle is really amazing. Like I said, there's some somber moments, funny moments, and some mind-blowing plot twists of some episodes here. But like I said, I want to get you guys to watch it first before you do the listening of my podcasts for that. I'm just finishing up the first season. Just want to let you guys know there are 8 seasons on here of the TV series. And like I said, I'll be getting into a little bit more about that once my series has finished for season 1. And then we're going to talk about season 1 first. And then we will talk about the other seasons later. So, back to myself here. So, I just want to let you guys know that, I want you guys to be able to learn something when you're listening to my podcast. Because, I want everybody to kind of look at movies or watch TV shows in a different perspective. Because if you just start watching a movie and don't really understand the background or things of that nature, then it's not as a bad thing. It's just for those who are very knowledgeable and want to know a little bit more about those, that's where this podcast comes into play. So I want you guys to be able to learn something as I'm passing my knowledge on to you guys. Because you can always say, hey, I watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding after listening to this podcast, and I completely agree with everything that she said. Or maybe I don't, maybe I disagree with. But the main thing, guys, I want to talk about my podcast is that I just want us to have a lot of fun. This podcast is something that I have wanted to do for a long time. And I never really had the courage to do that until about last week. I started really getting intense in how I wanted to do my first podcast, at least the content version of this. And like I said, I'm going to be working on Castle. So right now, I just finished episode 8, and we're going to get into episode 8 here later on in the podcast. So, whether you're a movie or TV show fan like me, and you want to know more about my views of them before you watch them on the streaming service or go buy the DVDs or even go see them in the movie theaters, that's awesome. Or if you're just simply curious about how movies or TV episodes are and you're just simply curious, well, you actually have come to the right place. But all in all, guys, I just wanted to let you guys know that I really enjoy movies so much. And, I just want to be ble to get the same reaction that my family members and the friends have when I share knowledge with them from what I gather when we're watching a movie or watching a TV show, or like, hey, do you know this person in this particular TV show? Well, apparently looking at this particular actress or actor up, they were actually in this. And just like I said, the reaction on their face is rewarding to me, because I can at least tell them a little bit more information about that, and they become curious, so that the next time they watch something with that actor or actress in there, go, oh, I remember Lauren saying something about this particular actor because they were in this. Follow me on Facebook right now. I'm trying to get as much social platforms as I can, but we're going to start with Facebook right now, and if I become more popular, I'm going to put you on I'll be on TikTok, Instagram. I'll try and get a Twitter account so you guys can follow me on those pages and things like that, and kind of share with your friends a little bit more. But I want to end tonight with this thought with you guys. I know that it's 9/11, and it's been over 20 years since the towers went down. I was in the 5th grade when it happened. I'm in my almost mid-30s. And it's still very... You still have to remember all the people that were involved in that. The firefighters, the family members that were part of the ones that were fallen, whether they be a firefighter, a police department, or even the ones that were in the tower. Or even in the planes, for all that matter. But I just want you guys to remember the fallen on this 9/11 evening. And so I thank you guys so much for tuning in to the season premiere of Lounging with Lo podcast. Let's lounge together.